For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble, 30 minutes of time-wasting fun. I'm looking at the calendar. My God, it's the end of September already. Yikes. Hey, you remember the game Telephone that you used to play as a kid? And I'm not talking about smartphone. I'm talking about telephone, where you might sit in a circle in your classroom and then the teacher starts by whispering something into someone's ear, and then it goes around the circle, and by the time it gets back to the first person, the message is completely distorted and very, very wrong. Yeah, I got a story about that today, and it happened with my family and a death in the family. Yeah, there you go. Is that enough of a tease for you today? That's right. A game of telephone gone wrong involving death. Ladies and gentlemen, involving death. There you go. And very quick, I was going to talk about the Queen's funeral, but they're already wrapping me up. Why are we wrapping? No, I'm going to take a couple of minutes here, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. We just started the fucking show. I'm a minute in and you're already saying to go. What is this, the freaking Emmys? No, Queen Elizabeth. I mean, I want to know how many people were up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was in Los Angeles, or in, West Hollywood, and I was up at 2 in the morning to watch it. But I want to know who was up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, Central and East Coast time. Because, now with technology, you didn't have to be. In Canada, it was a holiday for some people, like for government workers in some areas, it was a holiday. And then, of course, there were people that were bitching that they didn't get the day off. And I guess the argument could be made, well, it was different if it was a major event happening in North America. But you have to remember with time zones, I mean, it was happening at about 5 o'clock in the morning or 2, depending on where you lived. You could go into work. It's okay. And you can record it, right? I mean, I guess you had VCRs back in the day when it was, Diana or Diana's wedding, even Diana's funeral, wedding, whatever it was. Or Harry's wedding. We can record those things and we can watch them later. We've always had that opportunity. But I guess people want the day off, obviously, right? You want it to be a long weekend or a holiday. But it was very long. I knew that it was going to be the whole, but I got to tell you, and I mean, again, being Canadian, so we do have that connection to the royal family, sort of. They tell us we do. It was a little much. Like, I kind of laugh now when I see the costumes, the big fuzzy hats, the whatever. I mean, you just sort of look at that and go, that's very dated. And it's not even about, now they talk about, abolishing the royal family, the Commonwealth, whatever you want to call it. But I was kind of watching it going, this is all a little extreme. Like, I mean, and I'm not taking away, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away from what she did for 70 years, whatever. I'm saying the pomp and circumstance, like the whole theatrics of it, like it was, now when we're starting over with somebody new and whatever, like, I mean, we can tone it down a little bit, right? And the big, everybody's watching, was Harry got snubbed, right? Him and Meghan had to sit a row back. They didn't even get front row. And so you just kind of look at the drama there. But yeah, okay. So speaking of family drama, though, we're going to talk about that. I was going to say wrongful death. I'll explain in just a moment. We're back on The Scribble right after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secret to losing 3 to 5 pounds a week without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt RX. For the last 2 decades, we've helped countless people lose thousands of pounds. And now, it's your turn. Learn how to lose weight with one simple phone call and no prescription needed. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a risk-free money-back guarantee. So, if you're ready to start losing weight, call right now and get a free month supply with your first order of Body Sculpt RX. Call now. You have nothing to lose but the pounds. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. That's 800-459-6838.
I think most family members have that chain of communication where if something happens, it's that trickle-down effect, right? Okay, well, in our family, my mom will call me, she'll call my brothers, we will disseminate the information to our spouses, and then spread it out as necessary from there. If it's something not so major, there might be a very impersonal Facebook post, right? That's what everybody does now when they've got an announcement. Oh, just wanted to let you all know that my mom died and whatever. I've always felt, no, excuse me, if it's family member, if it's something specifically urgent or what have you, I want a phone call, or I want it, at least I want some kind of a conversation, maybe a text, but even that just seems so impersonal. I'm saying if it's a family member. And no matter how big your family is, because we have we've probably got about 40 some people on my mom's side, if not more, just as many on my dad's side. But yeah, so on the weekend, my cousin reaches out to me, and I speak with this cousin all the time. We have great conversations. We laugh. We spend hours doing video chats and drinking her boxed wine, and I have whatever happens to be in my fridge at that time. And we've known for quite some time on my dad's side of the family that a few of our relatives aren't in great health. And so one of them, and we're going to use code names here. We've got Uncle K and Cousin B. Uncle K has had diabetes. He wasn't taking his medication. He was just sort of going on a downward spiral. He really was in poor health a couple of weeks ago, and one of our relatives reached out and said, to my cousin and said, would you mind sharing some information that he's in the hospital, he's being treated, just because I'm just so busy I can't, but let me give you the gist of it. So then we get this big group Facebook message saying, okay, this is what's happened with Uncle K, da-da-da-da. He's not that great. We also got a picture of him. He looked in very poor health. And so we were like, oh, well, we're wishing him the best if there's anything we can do, right, as families do. So a week or so goes by. Now, we've also had a cousin B who has been in poor health. He's had, he also has, diabetes. He's very overweight. He had an injured leg. Just, lots going on. He was on just so many different pain medications, and the doctors apparently, couldn't find out what was wrong. They're concerned, but we'll just do this test. We'll do this. We don't know. And then he was also separately in hospital as well. So fast forward to this past weekend when the cousin with whom I drink with calls me. Now, normally we'll say, hey, do you want to talk tonight? Hey, you got some time? Yeah, let's do our wine conversations. And this was an unscheduled call. So that also kind of perks up my ears, right? I'm like, oh, okay, wait a second here. Sherry's calling me, and it's like a Saturday morning. We do this like at night before bed. When we've said goodnight to our husbands, that's when we get on the phone and gossip. It's not a joke, it's true. But anyway, so when I see that my cousin Sherry is calling me on a Saturday morning, that also sort of piques my interest. And she says, my dad just called and said that Uncle K has, he's died. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, we knew that he was sick, right? It's kind of always what you go, they're sick, that, recovery is, it's always a hope, but the reality is that's not necessarily the case, right? And so in this instance, it was kind of like, well, I mean, the last time that we saw him, it kind of seemed. And so we were just like, wow. Now, his wife, my aunt, had also been in poor health recently, and they also, one of their daughters, my cousin, just had a baby, so they've got a new baby in the family too. So I mean, that's a family that's going through a lot, good changes and bad changes. You got new life, and then you've got this, and so we were just like, oh my God, I hope they're all okay, and should we reach out, because you have to remember that with shutdowns and Corona and stuff like that, not all family members can go to a hospital or do things like that. So it's like, do we know what we can do? What can we do? Have, maybe so-and-so. And again, this is where you kind of go to that, the hierarchy of a family and say, well, this should be like the aunts and uncles, my uncle's brother, my dad, that let them, us as cousins, us as the youngsters, we'll just sit back. If there's something they need, sure, we'll jump in. But I mean, what can we do, right? And so as I'm having that conversation with my cousin, my mom texts and says, Auntie J just called. Cousin B was in hospital with an infection and had a heart attack and died. And so I'm on the phone with my cousin Sherry, and I'm just like, okay, whoa. She was in the middle of a sentence, and me being the news person I'm like, wait, Sherry, hold on here, hold on. Breaking news, Sherry, breaking news. Whoa. And she's like, what? And I just couldn't even get it out. I said, hold on a second. Like, I've got goosebumps right now. Like, I don't even know. I need a moment here. I'm a broadcaster. I can talk through anything. I said, my mom's saying that cousin B just died. And she's like, are you kidding? Like, this is... Now, I'm not equating this to the 9/11 attacks. What I'm saying is, you got that first plane hit the tower, right? And you're kind of like, okay, and now, boom, here's the second one. You're sitting there going, what is happening? Right? Like, that's my only comparison. I'm not conflating this with a terrorist attack, okay? Let me be very clear before anybody sends letters. I'm just saying, wait a second, did we just lose 2 family members in the course of an hour or a couple of hours? Like, this is nuts here. Let's hold on. We're grieving Uncle K, and now cousin B is dead? What is, like, slow down here. Let's rewind. So then my cousin Sherry says, wait a second, then maybe my dad misunderstood or misheard the news. You know, he's hard of hearing, he's 70 something years old. And I said, Sherry, that's something really big to mess up. One of them coming from a relative, one of them is her child, my aunt's child. Another one is, a brother-in-law. Like, those are 2 different things. If she's calling to say that her son died, that's going to sound differently, I would think, than my brother-in-law died. So what is it? Like, because they're both big stories unto themselves, but one to that woman would be significantly harder, I would think. Just my belief. And so then my cousin Sherry's like, I don't know. I got to call my dad because I don't know. Do we have 1 death? Do we have 2 deaths? If it's 1, who is it? How do we not? So I end that call, and then my accountant ends up calling me a couple minutes later, and she's like, "Oh, I wasn't sure if you would be up or not on early on a Saturday morning." And I said, "My phone is blowing up because I don't even know what's going on." I said, we don't know. Somebody has died, and we don't know who has died." And she's laughing, going, "Leave it. That's your family. Yeah, sure. It can't just be a simple death. It's got to be drama over. Wait a second. We don't know who died this morning." And I'm not even kidding you. This is absolutely true. So then I'm kind of sitting there waiting, going, okay, now my cousin's got to call me back because and then at the same time, how do you go and reach out then, right? Do I go and reach out to my cousin and say, sorry for your loss of your dad? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that your dad died. And she'll be like, what? My dad died? When the hell did that? How do I not know my dad died? Oh, well, Aunt so-and-so from across the way said that your dad died this morning. Then you're going to send this daughter who just had a baby, you're going to send this daughter into chaos and confusion and, emotional roller coaster, emotional wreck, I would imagine. And then, and now we're going to potentially tell the wife, my aunt, that my uncle's dead. Like, how do you make that mistake? So then I text back to my mom and I said, no, and Uncle K is dead too? And she's like, no, he's in the hospital, but he's not dead. So then my cousin calls me back. She's like, I'm getting voicemail from people now. I don't even know what the story is. And so for this Saturday morning to be playing out, we have no idea what has happened. Turns out it is cousin B who had, who had overweight, the leg issues, medications, whatever. It turns out that it was my cousin who died, not my uncle. And you just can't imagine, like, how does that game of telephone, and now we're literally playing telephone because it's actually playing out on the phones, not just this whispering ear to ear to ear as you would, when you play as a kid. I mean, how do you get that wrong? That's significant. And could you imagine, as I said at the top, that chain of communication? So now you're going to end up having people calling around and going, Uncle K is dead. Uncle K is dead. Oh my God, Uncle K is dead. Uncle K is dead. I'm hearing cousin B died too. Wait a second. Cousin B died. Cousin B died. Cousin B died. Cousin B died. Now we've started a rumor that the wrong person died. So there you are. Have you ever had a really weird miscommunication in your family? I definitely need to know. And like I said, it's different if it's like, oh, so-and-so graduated or got a job doing this. We are declaring the death of the wrong person. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer. Save the money, save the hassles, and get the better blue pill. Dial 800-578-0179. That's 800-578-0179. 800-578-0179.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt, your shoulder hurts, and your back. Oh my God, your back. They're constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore, am I right? Well, here is something you haven't tried. Pain Absolve. Pain Absolve is not available in any drugstore. The only way to get it is by calling today. We're so confident that it will work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase, no prescription needed, and best of all, each purchase comes with a money-back guarantee. Call now to find out how you can get Pain Absolve and get rid of your pain. Call 800-319-0582. That's 800-319-0582. 800-319-0582. Call today. 800-319-0582.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
JB here, back on the Scribble. So just in that, however long that break was, that got a conversation going over here because, see, I can tell when everybody's really into it because all of a sudden, as soon as I wrap up that segment, everybody starts chiming in. And in that matter of whatever, 45 seconds, minute and a half, 4 of us have had a full-on discussion, and that's how you know people are really into the conversation. So let's continue on with you now because I want you to chime in on this. So we've all had a situation where we've either had to give a gift or go to an event for something or somebody that we don't care about, right? Maybe we had to go to our nephew's Christmas concert. We didn't care to go, but he's our nephew, so we go. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Now, it could happen also at work, right? When you do the Secret Santa thing. And I think it always happens. Well, see, I like the people that I work with, so it's not a problem for me. But I remember working in offices before and me going, okay, don't draw, making up a name, Sandra or Tom's name. Like, please don't draw Tom. Please don't draw Tom. And then, of course, I go and reach in, right? And then I draw Tom's name, that was always my thing. And so it's kind of like, you have to participate because if you don't, you're the non-team player who's not participating, right? I mean, that's kind of the thing. And so it's just like, oh, God, here we go. So I've got to go and buy something for somebody I don't care for. I'm participating in something that I don't want to participate in, but you do it because you have to. And so we were just talking about that. How many times have you been invited to a wedding and you feel like an asshole because you don't want to? So if you say that you're not going, but yet this person thinks that you're close, that, they've invited you or whatever. I mean, how do you go do it? You can come up with an excuse. You can do it. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm one of those people where it's like, well, I'm going to go. And I'm a pretty good actor, so I'm able to do it. Now, the problem for me always is that I generally I get suckered into speaking at these things. Obviously, being a public speaker as I have been for so long, it's not uncommon for people to ask me to, speak at weddings. And so I've had to do that before, though. I've had to speak at a funeral where I don't really know the person. Like, they're a friend of the family. So it's a very odd connection because I'm not even, related to that person or have a direct connection to them. I guess my connection is that I knew them. So if that's a connection, I knew the person. But it's very awkward then when you're preparing for something like that, because it's not like I'm not going up there and doing a comedy routine and I'm freestyling. Like, I've got to get stories from, the family or whoever to talk about this person and tell stories. And these stories are going to make sense to half of the people in the room, but I have to make it seem like I know what I'm talking about. Like, I've got to make it so that, I was there, I knew this one, I heard. No, they just actually told me about it like 2 fucking days ago. And so it's just, it's kind of really awkward. So, and I don't have the heart to say no when it comes to an event like that, right? I mean, it was, a funeral. How do you go and say like, well, I don't really know that, because then that just seems like it's a slap in the face to the family as well. Maybe they think that you knew the person better, right? And then the same thing about, a wedding where I'm just kind of like, I've maybe spent, I maybe met the, the bride or the groom or whoever, let's say that I've got a connection to the bride, but I've never met the groom before. Like, maybe I've known his name because she's told me about him, but I don't, and so now I've got to go up there and roast this guy that I maybe just met a couple times before, going to their wedding. So it's always very strange. So I want to know about different events that you've had to go to where you either didn't even know a person, you didn't care, or you're sort of looking at yourself going, ugh. I remember having to do that for it was an agriculture thing. I'm trying to think of sort of the backstory. I had to fly to Calgary. Why? Oh my God, it was I don't have time to talk about the whole story. I had just started a job. That's right. I just started a job, and it was literally the second day on the job. At the publishing I talked about this publishing company that I worked at a long time ago. It was the second day on the job because their editor of their client's magazine had left, and it was kind of like, oh shit, we've got this big conference, and when I say it's a conference, it's like it's a trade show, there's awards, it's a very formal dinner the last night, and I just remember going, I don't know, I know sweet fuck all about agriculture, first of all. And I'm now the editor of their magazine, which I just saw for the first time yesterday. And here I am on a plane to Calgary, representing this magazine at a booth at their trade show, and sitting at a table with their people, and having, this big, it was almost like a wedding. That's how formal it was. And I was just like, oh my God. But again, that's where I draw on that whole, PR thing. And I know how to play that though. Like, I know that they're a client, so you go into ass kiss mode. So, okay. And I was even told before, I was handed an envelope of money, of cash, before I left. And the instruction was, when you're going to these things, because there's one, the icebreaker night was their opening event, was at a bar. And so it was like, buy them drinks, like buy the client drinks, if you see, if you're getting a drink, get around for the table or get, whatever, buy them drink. Don't worry about receipts, whatever. Like, this is, I think it was like, it was $200 or something that I was given for like 3 or 4 days or however long I was there. And it was just wind down and schmoozing, because I'm really good at that. And pretending like I know what I'm talking about. Hell, listen to this show where 300 and something we're almost 400 episodes in. But it's strange though. But what I laugh about, what I find funny is in that moment, right? You almost get into character. You have to get into character that you give a shit, right? That's the big thing. And then whenever I leave those events, so the second I walk out the door, or when I get into the car, or when I get back to my hotel, or whatever, wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, I also just start laughing, because for me, I'm like, that last like 3-4 hours was crazy. That was ridiculous. Like, I was a cowboy at an agriculture convention, and in this very Western, Calgary's a very sort of a cowboy kind of a town anyway, or city, excuse me. And, here I was. And all of a sudden now I come back home going, wow, that was just weird. So send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. I get a kick out of it. I just, it's funny. But I also, so going back to that funeral thing, I do feel a bit, it's a bit weird to pretend, it's hard, like, I don't know, it's at a funeral, right? Like, it's sort of, there's people, it's tough when you look out and you see the old ladies, like the grandma, the great grandma, whoever, crying and really, and then you have no emotion or connection to it whatsoever. So there is kind of that weird, not a parallel. It's a, I don't even know what the word. I mean, it's disingenuous, but that also, I don't know if that's the right word. It's just a very bizarre experience. Also, I hate kids. I've talked about I hate kids. Anytime that I've had to do, I shouldn't even say these things on the air. there goes all of my partnerships that we've had for the past 9 years with different organizations. But no, I've talked about. We've even produced it for Air Canada. When I go for a day trip to Disney, basically I fly from Canada to Disney World in Orlando. And I'm with 100 and some kids for an entire day. I'm not even away from them unless I go to the pisser, as my colleague would say. I'm at Disneyland or Disney World for a full day. I'm on an airplane with these kids at 4 a.m, and I'm going on all the rides, and I'm interviewing them. They're my co-host for the radio shows, and we did a special broadcast for Air Canada, and it's really it's trying. It's a test of your nerves. It really is. And so, it's a trip to Disney World, so there's a plus there. But, it's just, you've got to be in this character as though, like, I like hanging out with 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds. I really don't. But, it's how you do it. So, anyway, the email address, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Tell me about the weirdest sort of event. And that also happens too when you're married, right? You might have to go to your partner's, company Christmas party or some sort of an event, and you've got to pretend like you know who the people are, and they talk to you as if they know you because your partner talks about you, right? So they know your name. They might know stuff about you just from discussions they've had, and then you're kind of going, oh, that's Eric. Yeah, he's the ass. Oh, that's the asshole I always hear about. Okay, yeah. Okay, good. Right? So now you put the face to the name. So I guess there could be a bit of fun there too. But anyway, I'm just a good person that way. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. There you go. You just heard about the Twitter. I love calling it that just to make myself sound very, very old. Okay, the 2-minute clock is ticking. So again, my email address, if you want to chime in on any of the discussions that we had today, they were, at the top of the show I mentioned about the whole Queen's funeral thing, and it was really a long day because I was up, like I said, at 2 o'clock in the morning. My job as an entertainment reporter was I had to comment about the celebrity reactions, which there wasn't really much, quite honestly. I mean, you have to... When she died, it was a little bit later in the morning here in North America, or it was early afternoon, I guess, in some time zones. But, for the funeral, I think most people were like, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., yeah, I'll record it. Or I'll watch whatever is on when I wake up at 7 or whatever to get ready for work, right? I think that's kind of how it goes. So... yeah, just the whole... It's the big fuzzy hats. It's just like, ugh, it's so not modern day. It's like you went back in time. But I'm a Canadian, so I'm supposed to be rah. Anyway, the institution is the word I couldn't think of, by the way. I was saying Commonwealth and whatever. It's the institution. Again, live at jbonair.com is my email address. And if you've ever had to, attend an event where you're just sort of like, and sometimes somebody also had mentioned to me, it could be one of those things where you just went because there was an open bar or there was a dinner, right? Maybe there was a free dinner buffet or something. So you went, hey, me being in the media, I've been invited to a ton of things. And that's actually the running joke, though, is that if you want to get reporters to your event, feed them. Give them food or give them booze. That's how you get reporters to come to your event. PR 101, people. Write that down. If you're a small business owner and whatever, and you want attention from the reporters in the media, feed them. Give them food. Give them something. There you go. Not these influencers, quote unquote. I'm actual reporters. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some